Hey folks, Fable here. So, I pull 4 blades light cone so you don't have to. Well, not really. If you re-pull for blade, you most likely will be pulling for his light cone, but I pulled for blades light cone strictly for my Clara. So I'll be testing her on I'll be testing her with blades light cone and of course with my current Clara light cone, which is S3. Keep that in mind, so I have to do a little bit of calculations here and there. Oh boy, but it's just gonna be like what, an 8% difference so far, like 200, 300 difference in attack. That's really about it for the most part. But anyway, let's begin. Alright, so what we're gonna do first is gonna test each of the light cones with Clara by herself in MOC 10 just to see damage output. That way we can get like a clearer idea of how much each one is doing at roughly like 5 stacks with her, of course, physical set. So far, the maximum damage so far with this set, well with Blaze Light Cone, is roughly 16k average for the most part at 5 stacks. And then we're going to test one more time with Enhance, because I've got the test at Enhance. So far against that moss specifically is 13k. Let's see if we crit here, and 18k with Enhance. So that's about so-so. Now we're going to test her with her light cone, which of course is S3, so it's about an 8% difference when she gets hit. And of course about, for me, it's a 400 attack difference, roughly. So far with her light cone by herself, she's already doing 18k. That is with S3, so about roughly a 1k-ish difference at base. 1k, 2k roughly, if you want to consider that. So it's not that bad, right? It's like, Blade Cyclone's not that bad. It's fairly even for the most part. I do lose 400 roughly attack because it is S3, and that's 24k onto the Automatron, and then that's about the Enhance. So yeah, it's not that bad. Like if I were to have it as S1 for her light cone, I would probably see about similar results anyway. So yeah, let's test with her with a buffer. So for this next trial run, we're going to test Blaze Light Cone with Tinyun on Clara, and let's see how much damage she can maximize. So with this, I'm going to test right off the bat with the Enhance, and that means Tinyun is going to give her the Benediction plus the boost to her damage, and this is 37 on single, so it's not that bad. It's pretty decent damage, and then 13k non-crit. So I'm going to ignore the Tinyun's lightning damage that's being dealt on top of it, so like 34, 36 it was too fast, but yeah, it's pretty good. Like when she gets hit, of course, like when she doesn't get hit, she doesn't gain that benefit of the full benefit, so you're just really gaining the crit rate. That's about it. But when she does get hit though, it's really good. It's not bad. It's not like her base cone where obviously you get more damage output because it's both attack gain plus total damage increase. This is more of just crit rate for consistency in your damage overall, regardless of whether or not she gets hit or not, and it's pretty good. Yeah. Now let's go test out her clone with Tinyun and see how much damage it can do. Yeah. So just like with Blade's Light Cone, we're going to do the same thing, except we're going to use Clara with her own Light Cone. And then let's see how much she does with the enhanced version, just right off the bat. She gets hit, which is good. And no crit there, unfortunately. So it's 14k non-crit, probably like 28k. 51k, right, on single target, which is really high because, again, it is S3, so I have to mitigate some of that. So 40k, I believe that was without it. So yeah, because she has higher base attack and plus attack gains, she would do a little bit more if she gets hit. And of course if she crits. So overall, her cone is still good for her if you want to see more damage output, but if you want to see more consistency in, say, damage per hits, I would go for Blade's Light Cone, and it still does decent, good, relatively good damage, right? Like you saw there, like 34, 35, 36 roughly. So if my Clara's Light Cone was roughly like what, S1, you'll probably see around 41 or 45 roughly, just off because of the increase from the attack overall. So I would say it's not that bad. But now let's test with a full team comp now. Let's see from there. So right off the bat, my Lorcha does provide attack bonus, and his ult is going to shred all resistance down by I believe 20%, so that does factor into the overall damage potential. Keep in mind my Tingyun is running Card of the Moon at S2, and then March is just there to give shield. So right now I'm just keep everything on auto just to keep things fair when I do the second run as well with Clara's Lycone instead of Blaze Lycone. And so far, I just want to look at specifically how much overall damage she's doing with all this buff with Blaze Lycone, and only when she got hit. So like right here, she got hit, and unfortunately she didn't crit, even though she had like 76% crit rate, which sucks. But now with Enhance, it should be roughly 20k. Huh. Well, that sucks. Okay, let's see with Lorcha's all shreds plus attack buff. Hopefully she crits a little higher with Enhance. And let's please Clara. 26k. That is interesting. 26k. Alright, she got hit, so this should trigger the buff again. 22k. Again, I'm ignoring the Tinyun's Benediction buff, so I'm only focusing on the physical damage output that Clara is only able to do. And one more time. Hopefully we get a higher number, because right now it's kind of low. Well, that was really hard to tell. But I think that was 50 something. Oh, I got slow on that. Anyway, auto is just doing auto things again, and then hopefully we get to see one last time before we hit the third wave. Unfortunately, it's going to die here, looks like. Yeah, it's going to die here. So we're going to go to the next wave to see what happens. So Tingyun, Clara's going to hit, and hits for 41k. So 41k, right? 41k. Okay, that's good. So Tingyun is going to buff Clara. Clara is going to ult again. I also have to keep in mind it's also MOC buffs too, because it is 50%. So this hits Clara. Clara will do 31k to the animatron, 39k to the Phantom. March is gonna just March AI. But yeah, it's so far I'm guessing is roughly, with all these amount of buffs, 40-ish k average. So if I remember from back then, from my S1 with Clara's Lycone, it's about roughly the same. But that was when I was working with I believe 154 crit damage or so, and I think about 3,500 attack roughly, right? So it's really not that bad so far. Like, it can definitely clear, and for the fact that it's already at 36 turns in, means that she's critting more often, so it should be a little faster on clear time. Whereas if I gave her my other cone, which is the Clara Lycone, it would most likely have a -1 turn because of inconsistency of how much she is able to crit, due to the fact that my crit rate is rather low, roughly 58, without the 18% that's Blade's offering. That's what I'm really looking at for value-wise, so it's really not that bad overall damage. Like, this is old Clara damage for me back then when I ran her Lycone at S1 and S0 for herself. This is obviously S1 Clara, but yeah, so overall, not bad. Really not that bad. Now let's go test with, of course, her Lycone and see the overall difference. So far, I think I cleared here at 36 at this point. Yeah, at this point, I think I cleared at 36. Because she moved, and then she just killed the thingy, I think. Oh no, never mind, 35. So cleared at 35, so yeah, not that bad. Anyway, let's go test the other Lycone now. So now that we kind of have an average for how much Blade is doing for Clara, let's see how much she's doing with her own Lycone. Obviously, in a full team setting, she's going to do a lot more because of the attack increase and the consistency in total damage value. But overall damage, however, when she's applying those damage, is going to be not as consistent because the crit value is a lot lower, so it has to be luck based on whether or not I do hit those notes. So here, unfortunately, I did crit quite often, so like 53, 42k roughly with S3 of her cone. So it's already doing a lot more when she does crit. And here, because again the animatronic does have higher defense values overall, it's going to do a lot less for both of the cones anyway, so they're about even in that case. And then here again, 31k when someone else gets hit. So yeah, it's like, it's pretty good. I mean, it's still good for her. It still offers her a lot more damage, but again, you have to bank on whether or not she does crit. Which for me, running at 58 now instead of 63 with 154 crit damage, oh boy. So yeah, we'll just continue and see from here how much more she's able to dish out. So far, I believe they averaged about the same amount of clear time, I think, on auto. That is, like on manual, I'll probably clear around like 36 or 37 roughly with this comp. But let's see how much she does here when she gets hit now. And oh god, I cannot see because of stimulants. Okay, fine, we'll go to the next wave and see from there. Yeah, so oh god, I should probably. Okay, I'm gonna say around like 40-ish K with that one. 25k is, I think that's what I saw there. So March is gonna do March thing because it's on auto. Same with Luocha, and then I'm just gonna ignore the AoEs. One more time, please hit Clara. Nope, doesn't hit Clara. Okay, it's just March because March put shield on herself. Which, yeah, March, good job on AoE on just applying. Anyway, but so Clara's gonna ult, and then. Okay, so 50% is applied from the MLC buff, and I think Clara will counter here because it did hit Clara, I think. Yeah, so it hit Clara and no crit. So like I said, it's very RNG dependent whether I crit because I do have low crit values. Again, no crit again, so that does eat up into the turn values. And if you want to specifically clear within a reasonable amount of time too. So whether you want to farm for more crit values or just pray to RNG God and just reset a couple of times and you did not get the crit value you want. But here it's just a try run. So far Clara's is on downtime right now, and I'm trying to get Tinyun's all back up as soon as I can, just so I can get Clara to do her thing. Fortunately, she did get hit, so that's a 46k, ignoring Tinyun's benediction. So as you can tell, it's about the same, to be quite honest. Like I did roughly 41k with Blades S1, and then here I did like 46k. So it's a roughly so-so, right? It's not that big of a gap difference for the most part. Like at S1 for her in this situation probably be like 44 or 43, give or take, depending on whatever's going on. So that's 63 right there. That's a big damage bonus. But yeah, I think overall. Oh, also have to keep in mind that was also with constant defense downs too, I believe. So that's a given from the mobs that they spawn. So if anything, I think Blade will probably do like 50k with the defense down as well. Roughly, I'm just doing this on top of my head or something. But yeah, it's interesting, I would say. It's not bad damage. What do I personally prefer at the end of the day? I think if you just want damage, like I said early on, go for Clara's Light Cone. But if you want consistency in overall output damage in terms of crit values and only wanting to crit, then go for Blade's Light Cone. If you already have Clara's Light Cone, you don't need Blade's Light Cone. You're just gonna have to reset a couple times, if anything, just for the right damage output. But otherwise, yeah, that's for me. I think I'll just stick with my Clara's Light Cone because it is S3 and I'd rather just reset RNG because there's no point in me caring about speed clearing due to the fact that again, it's not really a PvP game and there's really no rush or pressure to try and speed clear things. So just take your time and just go at your own pace for these sort of things. Hopefully this overall, I hope this was helpful in some way. Just determine whether or not you want to pull for Blade's Light Cone to use on Clara or any other destruction cone character, because it does work on a lot of them, specifically Arlen if you have Arlen. But is it mandatory? No, it's not that big of a deal. But yeah, that's really about it. If you have any questions or anything, just leave it in the comments. I'll try my best to answer them. And yeah, take care everybody. Abel is out.